All right, today we're going to be talking about the moon. So we're going to watch this quick video, and I want you to pay close attention to what the video talks about, okay? Because we're going to talk about this later and do some activities.
Click, click. Bluey's in Tile Town. Click, click. Yeah!
If you ever look up at the moon in the night sky, say before you go to bed, you've probably noticed that as the days and weeks go by, the moon looks like it's changing shape. Some nights it's a little sliver, and some nights, a few weeks later, it's a big bright circle. Well, the moon doesn't actually change shape, but our view of it does. Why? Well, the moon, just like the Earth, has a day side and a night side. A part that's facing the sun and a part that's not. So when we see a little sliver of bright moon, we're seeing a little part of the moon that's facing the sun, while the rest of the side that's facing us is dark. And the size and the shape of that sliver of lit up moon changes because the moon orbits or moves around Earth. It takes the moon about 1 month to make one full orbit around the Earth. And as it moves around our planet, the daytime side of the moon, the side that's lit up from the sun, is facing in different directions as we see it from Earth. This means that every night we get a slightly different view of the moon. And during its month-long trip in orbit around the Earth, the bright part of the moon appears to grow and then shrink from right to left. The different shapes that we see of the lit up part of the moon are called phases. And there are 8 phases of the moon. The first phase is the new moon. This is when the nighttime side of the moon, the side that's facing away from the sun, is what we can see from Earth. The moon is still up there, but because it's the dark side that's facing us, we can't see it during the new moon phase. The next phase is called the crescent phase. This is when the moon looks like a little sliver, kind of like the tip of your fingernail. After the crescent comes the quarter moon. This is when the moon looks like a half circle. And the next phase is called gibbous. A gibbous moon is when it's missing just a little sliver of light and it's almost full. And that's what's next. The moon is at its brightest at the full moon. That's when the fully lit up side of the moon is facing us, so we see a big bright circle. But we're only halfway through our phases. After the full moon, the lit up part of the moon appears to shrink. And just like how it grew from right to left, the sunny side of the moon will shrink from right to left too. So after the moon is full, it starts to shrink back down.
What's
to
after the
gibbous
full
But
moon?
this time, you'll notice that the left
Gibbous.
side is shining bright instead of the right. After the gibbous phase, the moon will look like half a circle. When
What's
it
after
reaches the
gibbous?
quarter moon phase again. And then after a few days, it shrinks down to
What's
a
after
little
quarter?
sliver again.
Crescent.
Crescent moon. After that, the tiny sliver shrinks all
What's
the
after
way
that
down
one?
until the
New
moon
moon.
can't be seen at all. Now the moon is a new moon again. It's the same old moon, but it's gone through a month-long cycle of phases, and it's ready to start all over. Like I said, it takes a month for the moon to go through all 8 phases.
How
In
long does
fact,
it take?
Our word month
A month.
comes from the word moon, because it takes a month for the moon to go from new moon through all of its phases and back to the new moon again. So tonight, before you go to bed, take a look out the window. If the sky is clear, can you see the moon? If you can't, what phase is it in? Is it the bright part?
That mouse got me.
So does the moon go through phases?
Yes.
Why do you think the moon goes through different phases? Tristan?
Because every night, if you look in the moon, it changes like every night.
It changes every night, but why does it change every night? CJ, what do you think? You think it's because it goes around the Earth? Does anyone have anything different? Yes?
Sometimes it faces the sun.
You think it's because it faces the sun? Okay. So actually, the moon does have phases because it moves around Earth, and we can only see different parts of the moon that are lit up by the sun. Okay, so where does the moon get its light from? Does it produce its own light? Where does it get its light from? The sun. So what is a moon phase? What does that mean? Yes.
When they like go to one thing and then the next thing.
So when they change, Bree.
When they change to like full moon, quarter.
First quarter. Okay, so when it changes,
And
okay,
they do it over and over again.
when they do it over and over again. So a moon phase is the shape of the moon that we can see from Earth. How many phases does the moon have? 8. Who can name some of the phases?
Full moon, new moon, quarter moon, third quarter,
Olivia, help her out.
new moon, quarter moon,
Quarter moon.
third quarter, full moon, and then the I can't pronounce that word.
It also has some other phases. They kind of have weird names. Strella? Gibbous. Okay. What was another word? Crescent. So some of the phases are third quarter, waning gibbous, full moon, waxing gibbous, first quarter, waxing crescent, new moon, and waning crescent. What do you think causes the phases of the moon? What causes for them to happen, Olivia?
Because the sun shines on the different sides.
Okay, because the sun shines on the different sides. James? The moon, because the moon moves around the earth. Okay, Skylar? So the phases of the moon are caused by the moon orbiting or moving around the earth. So what is the difference between waxing and waning when we are talking about the phases of the moon? What do y'all think that means? Waxing and waning when we're talking about the moon. It's kind of some weird words, right? What do y'all think that they mean? Look at the picture up here. We have waning crescent and waning gibbous, waxing crescent, and waxing gibbous. Look at the pictures. What does it look like? Let's look at waning crescent. Does everyone see it? What do you think? What does it look like?
Like this strip of your fingernail?
It kind of looks like the strip of your fingernail, but what else? What else does it look like?
Like a smiley.
Did someone say like a croissant? Yes. Or the other class said it looked kind of like a banana.
Kind
Kind of like a smile. So a waxing looks like it's growing from the right to left. So let's look at waxing crescent. It looks like it's growing, doesn't it? Like the darkness of the moon. Do you see how much there is and how little there is of the light?
Yes.
So it looks like it's growing when it goes that way. And then the waning crescent or waning gibbous looks like it's shrinking. So look at this. You see all that darkness and that little bit of light. It kind of looks like the darkness is just taking up all the light, right? It looks like it's shrinking. So waxing looks like it's growing and waning looks like it's shrinking or getting smaller when we're talking about the moon. So do y'all think that the moon actually changes its shape?
No. Yes.
How do you know that?
Because I can see the dark like when I'm looking at the moon.
Well, how do you know the moon doesn't actually change its shape?
Because it's just the light going, it's fading or it's changing.
You think it's just light, Olivia?
Like the video said, there's a light side and a dark side.
A light side and a dark side?
turning with the sun.
Okay, yes.
It's like the sun, like when it moves around the place, like it gives like light to one half.
It gives light to one half and then the other half is dark. Okay, Rivers?
It's just like one part is facing towards the earth and one isn't.
Okay. So the moon does not actually change its shape, but our view of it from Earth does. The moon actually looks like it's changing its shape because it moves or orbits around the sun, and different parts of the moon appear to be lighter than other parts. So can y'all name the phases of the moon in order?
Oh,
Full moon?
New moon,
Third quarter. Third quarter's kind of in the middle.
New moon.
New moon, crescent,
First quarter,
Waxing.
give it,
waxing.
and then
Put away.
So the order that they are in is new moon, waxing crescent, first quarter, waxing gibbous, full moon, waning gibbous, third quarter, and waning crescent. So the waxing parts of the moon, they come first, and then it's waning. So let's say them all together because it's kind of hard to remember them. Ready? New moon, waxing crescent, first quarter, waxing gibbous, full moon, waning gibbous, third quarter, and waning crescent. Let's try that one more time. New moon, waxing crescent, first quarter, waxing gibbous, full moon, waning gibbous, third quarter, and waning crescent. Wonderful. So what is an orbit? What does it mean when we talk about how the moon orbits around Earth? It what? It spins. It moves. What else? Rivers?
It's just like spinning around the earth.
It's spinning around in circles. Ainsley?
Goes all the way.
It goes all the way around. Jace?
It visits the sun, like when it turns, like when it goes in circles.
So an orbit is a path an object takes when it circles or goes around another object. How long does it take for the moon to make one orbit or one circle around the Earth?
A month.
A month. So think about this question before you say anything. Let's think about it. Why do you think it is important for us to learn about the different phases of the moon? Why do you think it's important for us to learn about? How can we use it in everyday life, or how can it help us understand the moon? Think about it for a second. How could us learning about this help us understand the moon better? When you think you have an answer, I want you to turn and talk to a partner about your answers. Everyone should have a turn to talk and to listen. Just turn and talk to a partner. It can be more than 2 people. It can be 3, since there's a weird number of y'all. How can the phases of the moon help us better understand the moon? What do y'all think?
I have no idea how to have a partner. I'm saying she said she would throw me across the room. I'll have they're all crushed up by cream cheeses now. Yeah, cheeses. I'll have a muffins. You'll take muffins. You'll take muffins. I'll have muffins. No, I just said about the muffins.
Alright, raise your hand if you want to share. I heard some really good answers.
Yeah, mine.
Ainsley?
If you want to become like an astronaut and you have to take a test, you might need to know all the different types of phases of the moon or why it does it.
Okay, Rivers?
When you're about to go to sleep or something, you might look up at the sky and see the moon, and you would wonder why it has different shapes every night.
Okay, Olivia?
if you want to be like a scientist or something, and you want to go, you want to study about the moon, then you want to know what kind of phases.
Okay, Skylar?
Like since it moves like in a week and stuff, whatever you can get in the habit and look at it, whatever day it is, that next week you can see what the moon looks like and you know what day it is.
Oh, I love it. So it is very important for us to learn about the phases of the moon because it helps us understand how the moon orbits and why it looks like it's changing its shape. All right, somebody turn the lights off for me. James, can you turn the lights off since you're closest? Okay, shh. Okay, so what I'm going to do, you see I have my moon and a flashlight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my moon and my flashlight and I'm going to act out a phase of the moon and you have to try to guess what phase it is.
But we have to raise our hands.
Well, I put the phases of the moon up here in case y'all forget because there's a lot of them, right? There's a lot to remember. So, are you ready? Here's the first one. The whole moon is lit up. Which one is it? Full moon, okay? Okay. So what if only this half of the moon is lit up? If the light is split, listen, if the light is split down the middle, but only this side is lit up, which one is it? Everyone tell me. Third quarter. Third quarter. The half. If my light went all the way halfway, but only this side is lit up, it would be third quarter. Now there's no light on the moon. Which one is it? Tell me. New moon. Okay. So what if only my light goes only halfway on the moon and this side is lit up? First quarter, okay? What if only like this itty bitty little sliver of the moon is lit up? Waning crescent. Now what if this big little sliver of the moon it's not halfway, not completely halfway. What if only this side is lit up? What would it be? Waning gibbous, okay? What if only this tiny little sliver of the moon is lit up? What would it be? Waxing crescent. Now what if it's not going to be quite halfway, but only if this part is lit up? This little sliver. Waxing gibbous. Wonderful. All right, someone turn the lights back on for me. James, turn the lights back on for me. Alright, I need my two groups to come sit down. Y'all come sit over here. Sit in a circle facing each other. Y'all sit in a circle facing each other.
We need to make it bigger so everybody can scatter.
Everybody's scattered.
Here, this group, scoot over that way. This group, come over this way.
Y'all have to go back.
Sit in a circle right here.
Let's go back.
I need a big circle.
Make one like them.
Yeah, make a circle like them. Quickly.
Everybody has their own way. Really don't see you. I have three squares.
Alright. Hold
Hold
them. Or Abel, either one. Scoot over there by Olivia. Scoot over some more by Olivia. Alright, see James? Come squeeze in between James and Holden. Okay, I'm going to give you this paper. Put it on the floor in the middle of your group.
Okay, I want it.
Okay. So what we are going to do, listen, if you don't follow directions, I'm going to ask you to go back to your seat and watch everybody else do it, okay? I'm going to give you 4 Oreos. What you're going to do is split them in half and try to recreate the phases of the moon. You see, your paper that I gave you looks just almost identical to this one right here, right? So you're going to take your Oreos, and sometimes you might have to take some of the icing off of some of them. So if I was making a new moon, would I have any icing on my Oreo? But what if I was making the full moon? Would I take any icing off? No.
I'll mix guys.
Do not eat these.
Bro,
If you get your work done at the end of the class, I will give you an Oreo. That is only if.
That's a good thing.
Only if.
Oh yeah.
Only if we get our work done. So
Give us some.
everyone should have at least part of an Oreo. And I want at least everyone to make a phase of the moon.
You guys just put it
Take your Oreo and split it in half. Take your Oreo and split it.
You have to split it and do it like this.
Or just untwist it. Untwist it. Everyone take your Oreo and just untwist it.
This is what she gave me.
That's fine. Because there'll be some parts of the moon that look like that. No. I want y'all to work together. Hold and let me see your Oreo. Just like this.
Somebody else your other half.
Give Abel this half. And you have that half.
That's a full moon.
Now, I need y'all to work together to make the different phases of the moon.
Whatever, bro. I'll make. Where's the full moon? Full moon's right there.
The full moon is right here.
Full moon's right here. You have to take the top off of the
All right, who made the third quarter? Who's making the third quarter? I need somebody to do it. Well, yours is pretty much in half, so let this be the third quarter.
I'm making waning crescent, but I make.
All right, put the third quarter in its spot. Hold on. Put the third quarter in its spot. It's right above the earth. All right, we'll put the first quarter on there.
We don't want to be eliminated.
That's not what first quarter is for.
Yeah, someone needs to make a waning gibbous.
I made waning crescent.
Waning crescent, okay.
I just made first
We need first quarter.
Somebody already made first.
Somebody needs to make first quarter.
I made the first.
Yeah, that can be first quarter.
That's not first quarter. Y'all, the pictures up there. That's
waning gibbous.
That's
waning.
What's this?
I did third quarter.
All right, somebody needs to make.
First quarter.
The one on top is third quarter.
Somebody needs to make waxing crescent.
Who's making
That's not first quarter. I just want to fix my waning crescent.
Yeah, I know. This is first quarter. I already did first quarter.
Full moon. First quarter. Full moon.
Bro, you did so good. Everybody just put it in there. It really matters what order.
Just a few minutes ago, they were saying mine didn't look like
You know what? I'm voting on somebody doing it, and I don't know why I'm voting as far as.
All right, somebody needs to put waxing crescent on there and you'll be done. Somebody do waxing crescent. Who has an Oreo? Okay.
I have a question. You do it.
All right, put your Oreos on the paper and go back to your seat.
I have a question.
Yes, hold on.
Do we have to put them in order?
Yes.
Okay. I told you I'm not messing with it.
Anyone have any more soda
Go
grams?
back to your seat.
I need to bring them to the office at this time.
They wouldn't do it in order.
All right, everyone go back to your seat.
Bro, everybody can eat this.
Stop. You're only going to put your name on this paper for right now. Just put your name on it. We're going to talk about it in a second. Everybody needs to put their name on their paper. When you have your name on your paper, I need you to give me a thumbs up.
You gotta bring it hot. I didn't get a paper. Here you go.
I'm sorry.
You hear the guys gonna race it?
Quickly. Alright, everybody has their name on their paper? Okay. So what we're going to do is I have a picture of what the moon looked like last night. Now the picture's kind of blurry, but you see there's all this light right here, but there's a tiny little sliver right here of darkness. So what you're going to do in this space right here, you're going to draw, does not have to be perfect. You're going to draw a picture of what the moon looks like. So everyone,
And it says as much detail as you can.
if you want to. I'm not requiring it to be perfect.
Do we draw the exact same thing? Or do we draw a face?
You just draw, you don't have to draw a face, you just draw the brightness right here, and there's a little sliver of darkness. You can barely see it.
Did you take that picture?
No, I did not.
It was just a picture
Yeah.
that people already took, but it was from last night.
I should have taken it. It kind of looks like an oval, like just the white. But remember, there's a little bit of darkness right over here. You can barely see it. So when you're done drawing your moon, you're going to circle right here where it says day or night. And this was at nighttime. So circle night. Circle night. And the time of day was 8 p.m. So write 8 o'clock and then circle p.m.
It was exactly 8 o'clock.
Yes. And then where it says the date, you're going to put February the 9th, which was yesterday.
Wait, today's the 10th.
Today's the 10th, but this picture was yesterday. So write February the 9th on the date.
Something I've been waiting for.
8 o'clock p.m. I have it on the board up here. It was at 8 o'clock p.m. on February the 9th.
Did we write 2025?
You don't have to. As long as you have February the 9th. So when you're done filling that out, it's going to ask you what you notice about the moon. I want you to give me at least 2 or 3 sentences of what you notice about the moon. What does the shape look like?
I'm putting this white.
Okay. What does the light look like on the moon?
Like milk.
And then you're going to guess the phase of the moon. So you're going to say, I think the moon is in this phase because, and then you're going to talk about the shape of the moon, the lightness, you can talk about the darkness. But based upon everything that we talked about of the phases of the moon, I want you to guess what phase of the moon we had last night. Yes.
I need something on the circle, not trying to reach circle. I need a ride.
I-N-G. You're done? If you don't know how to spell some of the words, I have them on the board. You gotta write me at least 2 or 3 sentences of what you notice about the moon. Tell me what phase you think it is and why you think that. When you're done, just raise your hand and I'll come get your paper.
Wait, I think the phase, is that what that's right?
I think the phase that the moon is in is blank. Maybe you're going to tell me why. Why do you think it's in that phase?
Oh, I can't remember what it's called.
Think about everything that we talked about.
They're up there. Where?
If you don't know how to spell some of the words, I wrote them on the board.
Oh, I thought you said the answer. I was like, wait.
No, I didn't write the answer. I just wrote some of the words. in case some of y'all don't know how to spell it.
Brain damage. Mental damage.
Tell me what phase you think it is, and tell me why. What are some things that you notice about it? What are some things that you notice about the shape that we talked about? You done? You give me 2 sentences?
I'm done.
Give me one more sentence. Give me at least 2 to 3 sentences.
Bro, I have to write one more sentence about what it looks like.
Let me see. Yes. If you're done, just sit quietly, because we're gonna go over everything. Give me 2 to 3 sentences. Good. You done? When you're done, just sit quietly, because we're gonna review what we talked about, and I'm gonna tell y'all what phase the moon was in last night.
Oh, this is what I think it is.
What's that?
Wait, can I write down my answer?
Well, I would remember it because the
I
phases.
can see if I got it right. All I know is new moon, full moon. I don't know what it is.
We still have some people working.
Can I see what I got?
And also, if you haven't finished your vocabulary words, you can work on that.
What one here?
Yes. Don't just say names, Chris.
I know what it
Yes.
is.
I will be done.
Two to three, so what? Right, two or get okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, actually, I didn't remember. Good. I put the moon as white. And I know that this is.
Raise your hand if you're still working. Okay, I'm not rushing y'all.
Board.
Thank you. We have to review. If you answer my question, then we'll review.
Would it work? Or would it have to be done with everything?
The little Oreo activity we did and this little worksheet.
That's everything.
All right, let's go ahead and review really fast, okay? Mm-hmm. All right, so what is a moon phase? Remind me, what is a moon phase? What does it mean when the moon goes through phases? Nancy?
doesn't change its shape.
It doesn't change its shape. It just kind of looks like it's changed, right? So how many phases of the moon do we have? 8. Can you name some of them?
Waning crescent.
Waning crescent. Bree. Waning gibbous. Rivers.
Waning crescent.
Waning crescent.
New moon.
New moon.
Full moon.
Full moon. Waxing gibbous. Olivia. The third quarter. James. The first quarter. Okay. Does the moon actually change its shape?
No, ma'am.
Why?
Because the only thing that changes is the brightness and because it gets its color,
It gets its light from
The sun.
the sun. So why does the moon go through phases? What causes the moon to go through phases? Because it what?
it moves around the
It moves around the earth. So what does the word orbit mean? What does it mean when we're talking about orbiting? It's moving around something. How long does it take for the moon to orbit around the earth? Once. So why is it important for us to learn about the phases of the moon? How can it help us? James. Olivia, help him out.
In case we don't know, if we want to learn about the moon and we don't know what kind of moon it is, we can know.
Yes. So it is very important for us to learn about the phases of the moon because it helps us understand why the moon looks like it's changing sometimes. There it goes. Okay. So can y'all name the phases in order? Can y'all name them in order?
Good.
Olivia?
New moon, waning crescent,
Waning
first quarter
crescent.
moon, waning gibbous, full moon, waxing gibbous, third quarter moon, and then waxing crescent.
All right, let's say them together one last time. New moon, waxing crescent, first quarter, waxing gibbous, full moon, waning gibbous, third quarter, waning crescent. Let's try that again. New moon, waxing crescent, first quarter,
waxing gibbous, full moon, waning gibbous, third quarter, waning crescent.
Wonderful. Okay. Kiss your brain. Thank you for being such good learners today. Who can tell me what we learned about? What about the moon? Different phases. So tomorrow we are going to be learning about solar eclipses. Oh, so the phase that the moon was in last night is, if I can find my paper. I had to hide it from y'all.
I can see it off the computer.
No, I don't have it on the computer.
It was bouncing off of it though. It was going right off. I can see the word.
I think it was waxing gibbous. Oh, here it is. Waxing gibbous.
Jay got it right. The last one.